Tonight on Midco Motorsports, Donny Schatz is up to his old tricks as he pursues a 6th World of Outlaws Championship. We'll recap his latest trip to Victory Lane. It's been a whirlwind few weeks for the folks at Rapid Speedway. Hot Rod Pattison caught up with the man that's helping resurrect the season at Rocky. Plus, after a disappointing finish in 2013, Michael Coburn hoped to return to his winning ways on his hometown track. The green flag drops now. And how's everybody doing? I'm Jay Elson, and this is Midco Motorsports. While rain washed out most of the weekend in our region, it could not slow down the World of Outlaws as the greatest show on dirt continued its annual grind with pit stops in Ohio and Michigan. Now, defending champion Darren Pittman came into the weekend as the series leader, but not by much. Joey Saldana and Donny Schatz were each within 10 points of the number 9 as they took to the track at Attica Raceway Park. Here we go, the 40-lap A-main of the Kistler Engines Classic. That's Dean Jacobs out in front in the 97 car, but things get messy less than one lap in. 4-car wreck in turn 3. Travis Philo and Cap Henry would be done for the night. Jacobs stayed in front off the restart, gets his first challenge of the night from Joey Saldana, but he manages to hold off the 71M coming out of turn 4. Lap 28 now, Dale Blaney takes a run at him, but again, Jacobs able to retain the lead, but he wouldn't be able to hang on for much longer. One lap later, Blaney completes the pass to take over the top spot, and that's where he would finish. Blaney becomes the 15th different World of Outlaws STP Sprint Cars winner of the season, his 9th career victory with the greatest show on dirt and headlines, an all-Ohio podium. Craig Mintz came from 13th to finish 2nd, while Jacobs settled for 3rd. Donny Schatz was the night's hard charger, moving up 18 spots to earn his 21st top 5 finish of the season. From there, it was on to Lake Odessa, Michigan, and I-96 Speedway on Saturday. Schatz started where he finished the night before, and while he fell back to 7th early on, it was clear he had no intention of staying there. Schatz starts to make his move on lap 10, cuts right between Paul McMahon and Darren Pittman, and that was just the start. Couple of laps later, he gets around Saldana on the high side to move into the number 3 spot. Fast forward to lap 21, Schatz gets by Brad Sweet, and he wouldn't look back from there. Schatz rolls on to collect his first ever win at I-96, his 5th overall this season. Sweet finished runner-up, followed by David Gravel in 3rd. Pittman and Paul McMahon rounded out the top 5. With the win, Schatz also moved back to the top of the World of Outlaws STP Sprint Car Series Championship standings, 8 points ahead of Pittman. Saldana is 36 points off the pace in 3rd. Those numbers as of late Saturday night. Now, one guy that's seen a lot of those Schatz wins firsthand is World of Outlaws STP Sprint Car Series announcer Johnny Gibson, and he joins us now on the phone. Johnny, Donny Schatz is accustomed to being at the top, and he's there again now. Saturday's win was his 152nd with the World of Outlaws, which moved him within 1 of tying the great Mark Kinzer for 3rd on the Outlaws all-time list. Now, people around here, of course, have been watching him for a long time, but in your eyes, what makes Donny such a special driver?
I think one of the things that Donny Schatz has really done so well over the course of the years is work the car on the racetrack. Whatever the racetrack gives him, that's what he'll get out of the car. Donny is so amazingly talented when the track starts to slick off just a little bit. He has such control of the throttle with his right foot. He's able to make the car move forward without spinning the tires just by tiny, minuscule adjustments of the throttle. I think that is something that he's worked very hard at, and it's certainly paid off for him.
Yeah, certainly a lot of talent there, Johnny. But with that said, it seems like his competition in the World of Outlaws right now is incredibly deep. A lot of big-name veterans mixed in with some incredibly talented younger drivers. How difficult right now is it to get a win, let alone 152?
It is amazingly difficult right now. We have got the closest competition that we've ever seen in the World of Outlaws STP Sprint Car Series. More drivers capable of winning, more drivers capable of ascending to the top of the point standings. It's all in the beginning of June, and we've already had 5 different point leaders, 11 different exchanges of the lead in the point standings, and we've still got a long way to go this season. And each and every night, new drivers emerge in victory lane. We're on pace to set a new record for the number of winners in a season with the World of Outlaws STP Sprint Car Series.
Now the series is headed this direction with stops at Jackson, Knoxville, River Cities, and Houston, among others, scheduled here over the next month. How do the tracks in this area stack up against those that you run throughout the season?
Oh, they certainly stack up favorably no matter how you look at it. As a matter of fact, my personal favorite racetrack is River City Speedway in Grand Forks, North Dakota. I've been to over 340 racetracks throughout the world, and that's my number one.
Well, what is it about River Cities that stands out above all those other tracks for you?
It's just the type of racing that you see there. I have never, ever seen a bad race there. The size of the track, the shape, the width, the fact that it's capable of producing 4 and 5 wide action. I just think that it's the perfect shape racetrack.
All right, there's some high praise for the bull ring from the World of Outlaws announcer Johnny Gibson. Our thanks to him for checking in. Well, stay tuned. Season 2 of Midco Motorsports is just getting started. For more on what we can expect throughout the region this summer, we'll turn to our own expert, Hot Rod Pattison, joins us next. Now, welcome back to Midco Motorsports. For the second straight summer, we're going to get some help from our own local expert. His name is Rod Pattison. A lot of you out there, of course, have seen him around the local racetracks over the years. And we're going to take our own little hot lap with Hot Rod right now. 4 turns, starting with tracks. Rod, a lot of local tracks this day and age, we're seeing them shut down because racing is, as you know, a very expensive business. A lot of these guys find out, unfortunately for them, the hard way. But in our case, in this region, 2 tracks reopening here for the 2014 season.
Very excited about that. Of course, Rock Rapids, Iowa has been great for racing, and Rapid Speedway has been very good to Rock Rapids. Some unfortunate circumstances kind of came together earlier this year, forcing a temporary shutdown of Rapid Speedway. Derek Vanderbrink, which we'll hear from in just a few minutes, and a whole bunch of other people came together, put it back together again, and they're scheduled to race this weekend for the first time with a great show. Very excited to see how Rapid Speedway at Rock Rapids, Iowa is going to come together. It's one of those adages, you don't know what you've got until it's gone, so a lot of people came together to make sure it's not going to be gone. Now, as far as the other one's concerned, Park Jefferson closed for about 3 years or so, but a group called A to Z Promotions has come in, done a lot of work at that racetrack. They're scheduled to open here in a couple of weeks with specials only during the first year. Very excited to see how that's going to work. A lot of work yet to do, but I'm very excited about it, and I think it's going to work for them. So double thumbs up for those 2 tracks to open here this season.
Yeah, those guys have been busy down there in Jefferson just trying to get that thing ready to go. They're opening it up in about a week or so. Turn 2, Mark Dobmeyer, obviously a very popular guy in both North and South Dakota in terms of 410 Outlaw sprints. Struggled a bit so far here in the early going, but I think you and I probably both know that 13 car is going to get it righted once the weather starts warming up here a little bit.
Yep, it's been a very unmarked Dobmeyer season so far. Only 2 wins on the season. They've been traveling around the country, World of Outlaws, local, regional shows, things like that. They're without a crew chief right now, and that really is kind of the difference right now, I think. Mark is really kind of turning his own wrenches and calling all the shots. You know, they race Friday night in Grand Forks, Saturday in Knoxville, Sunday at Houston, plus all the other shows. Plus, he's a business owner as well, and so that really takes a toll on things, and all that travel, about 1,200 miles in about a 3-day stretch, calling all the shots and things like that. But between him and car owner Dave Lunstra and John Dozie and all the guys on the crew, they'll find a way to get things right here come mid to late June into July. And when you get to the month of money, they'll be right there in the thick of things.
Let's move over to the World of Outlaws for Turn 3. Donny Schatz just took over the points lead. He's very accustomed to being in that spot, as we heard from Johnny Gibson a little earlier in the show. But he's pursuing not only a 6th World of Outlaws Series championship, but he wants to make a little history come August as he pursues an 8th Knoxville Nationals title. Yeah,
and when Donny Schatz started here way back when, he was a local at Houston Speedway, and he frankly was not very good, but he's turned out okay. You know, when he drove for his dad, won some championships World of Outlaw-wise and Nationals-wise at Knoxville. The marriage between him and Tony Stewart and the crew that they've got right now is absolutely phenomenal. They are one burned piston away from having 8 in a row, nationals-wise. They won 3 in a row. The 50th, they had a burn piston. They took second to Tim Schaefer. They've won 4 in a row since. They've got a very legitimate chance of having their 8th championship at Knoxville. Plus, like you said, they took the point lead at I-96 out in Michigan this year with the World of Outlaws. So they've got a very legitimate chance to get the old double dip again this year. So Donny Schatz has it going on again this year.
Crazy just how good he has been. Another guy who's been awfully good throughout his career as we hit the home stretch here is Steve Kinzer. Says he's finally going to hang it up after this season.
Hard to believe that he just turned 60 this past Monday, June 2nd. 576 feature wins, just World of Outlaws, not counting prelim wins or any other feature wins to his credit. And he has really set the bar. 20 World of Outlaw Championships, 12 Knoxville Nationals Championships. He has set the bar in World of Outlaws sprint car racing, and as far as racing in general is concerned, with his greatness on the track and off the track, how he's marketed his team and everything, he's definitely going to be missed, and we wish him the best of luck in his finale season.
All right, thanks to you, Rod. Look forward to having you on a bunch this summer again. Well, as Rod alluded to just a couple of minutes ago, it's been a wild ride for the folks at Rapid Speedway, and we're going to have more with one of the guys charged with resurrecting this season in Rock Rapids when we come back.
We are resurrecting Rocky, and one of the men that has been the brainstorm behind all of it, Derek Vanderbrink. Race teams and race fans and sponsors and everybody's getting ready for the racing season back in February and March and April. All of a sudden, circumstances beyond anybody's control all came together. The racing season was called off. Derek to the rescue. Take it from there, bud.
Yeah, we got the news. I was just as surprised as anyone. Made some phone calls, contacted a few of the key people that would have been involved for the season. They were just as shocked as I was. And from there we just said, well, you know, what can we do as a group? How can we get this thing back together? And basically it came down to we needed somebody to come up behind us with obviously it takes money. You know, and the fair board decided this year they were going to step up to the plate. And by the time I had put together all the information they needed, we had the meeting, they approved it, they were on board, and they said, well, now we need a manager. And the room turned to me, and I said, well, I'm a driver. But I'll take it over, you know. I said, I guess, you know, to save it for this year, I'll take it on, and we'll see how the year looks at the end of this season, and maybe next year I'll do it again. Like I said, my original intent was to get the track reopened, to have a place to race. Yeah, myself and all the drivers, you know. So that's how we got to where we are now.
I want to go through the process that you've gone through a little bit, but being a driver and now getting a chance to wear the manager hat, do you have a whole new appreciation of what those people go through day in and day out?
Yeah, I had no idea what it takes to run a speedway, and I still don't. I mean, we're going to be opening with the USMTS on June 6th, so there's a ton of work that goes into getting everything ready. I mean, you got 2 weeks before the show, you got to have your track, you got to start track work, you got to get your concession stuff ordered, your beer orders, you have your people, you have to find your flagman, your tech, your corner officials. It is a huge undertaking, and now as a former driver and now track manager, greatly appreciate all the tracks around for what they do.
You've had a ton of people step up, not only behind the scenes with help, finding all of these people and getting all this ready to go, but sponsors helping you to foot the bill.
Yeah, we got a ton of support locally now. A lot of the local businesses in Rock Rapids, Lyon County, and the surrounding counties and surrounding states. We have support in Minnesota, South Dakota, like I said, Iowa. You know, they've all stepped up. They've our title sponsor is the Pizza Ranch in Rock Rapids. You know, he's 100% behind us and real excited about making some new changes. And it is going to be different when you come back. You know, for 2014 under new management, things are going to change. You know, they have to. If you keep doing the same thing, you expect this. You know, you're going to have the same results. So, but other than that, our tow truck guys and they were all on board. But the local businesses have all jumped on. We've had contacts made from sponsors that said, well, 15 years ago they sponsored, and now they're back on board because they like this idea that it's the fair board running it and a local guy, and you know, it's a little more comforting when that dollar stays close to home.
How difficult has it been to get these sanctioning bodies back? Because you talk about the USMTS opening up your season, and the Minnesota Mafia is going to be on board, and some of these other people. How difficult has it been to bring them back after they, quote-unquote, left, per se?
Right at first, when I contacted a few of them, it was hard. They weren't sure if they were going to believe it, And they said, well, call us back when you got something more solid. So that was a little bit, discouraging right at first. But, with the USMTS and USRA, all the cars for this track have been built under that sanctioning body's rules. So that wasn't too tough. I mean, we know we're good to go there. The other shows that were booked, has been, we've met some resistance there, or we've had some difficulties because they've already booked shows. Once they heard Rocky was closed, they quick got to their calendar and booked other shows. But we're getting things pieced back together. I know Minnesota Mafia will be down here at the track 1 or 2 nights. We're working out details yet. And we're working on a few other ones. Like I said, the opening with the USMTS is a big thing. So,
well, congratulations to you and everybody involved in resurrecting Rocky, and we're looking forward to watching your Facebook page and your email addresses and your websites to see the progress. I can't wait to see a show here again, but congratulations and keep up the good work.
Well, thank you very much.
All right, a couple of special events highlight the early portion of the schedule at Rapid Speedway, and it all starts tomorrow night, June 6th, with the United States Modified Touring Series. USRA stock cars, B-Mods, and hobby stocks will also run. Then on June 20th, it's the Heritage Days 360 Sprint Car Special. That'll include the Jackson Speedway Touring Series, the Upper Midwest Sprint Car Series, the Nebraska 360s, and the Minnesota Mafia. So lots of good stuff coming up this summer at Rapid Speedway. Well, some of the top quad racers in the country returned to our area over the weekend, and the hometown boy, Michael Coburn, was hoping to use that to his advantage. Find out how he fared when Midco Motorsports rolls on. And welcome back. Well, the premier quad time trial racing circuit in the country made another stop near Sioux Falls last weekend. The AMA Extreme Dirt Track National Championship Series opened its 2014 season with a pair of races, or they were supposed to, at Sioux Valley Cycle Club. All of the riders were looking to get off to a good start, but no one wanted that more than Michael Coburn, a Garrettson native that also happens to be a perennial championship contender. Sometimes all it takes is one ride. For Michael Coburn, that ride is what turned a casual hobby into a competitive career.
We just kind of always had a four-wheeler, and I'd say whenever I was little, I was always riding it around and did that for a long time. And then when I was probably 15, 16, an older friend I had, he kind of got me into it. He was doing it and kind of told me, hey, come out and try it. And he let me ride his once, and ever since then I was hooked.
After spending a couple of years honing his skills close to home, Coburn linked up with the renowned AMA Extreme Dirt Track National Championship Series at age 18. And it didn't take long for him to prove he belonged with the best.
When I started racing, I didn't know how it was going to go, and definitely took a couple of years to kind of get in the rhythm of things and doing all the traveling, but eventually got everything kind of built the way it needs to be, and won 2 championships, and then I did a few other races too. I've been out to Pikes Peak and did the Pikes Peak International Hill Climb and won that 2 or 3 times. So yeah, kind of surprised I've done as good as I have, and definitely trying to keep it up.
With a short 8-race schedule, Coburn says consistency is the biggest key to any rider's season. That, after all, is what led him to those back-to-back series championships in 2009 and 2010. Unfortunately, he's also experienced the other side, like last year, when a couple of rough weekends blew up his bid for a 3rd title in 5 years.
I was doing pretty decent all last season, and kind of got into the last couple races, and they just weren't my type of tracks, really. I mean, they had a lot more jumps than I'm used to, and kind of just struggled, and 2 bad races is all it took and put me back into 3rd place.
Erasing those memories is one reason Coburn was excited to return to racing in 2014. And he can't think of anywhere better to get that process started than on his hometown track.
That's definitely a huge help. We run locally here too, so I mean we get a lot of time on the track, and it's nice we don't have to travel for it. And one of my favorite tracks to run on. It's really fast, good racing. It just works really good. The track out here for the National, they actually got the AMA Track of the Year this year, so it's definitely a really good track.
Now, Coburn swept the 2 races at Sioux Valley Cycle Club last season, and he made it 3 straight over the weekend, taking the win in the Pro Division on Friday. Brad Riley came across in second, while defending series champion Harold Goodman finished in 3rd place. Now, the group was supposed to run again on Saturday, but Mother Nature would not allow it. Round 2 was canceled. From here, Coburn and company will head to Freedom Speedway in Delavan, New York for a race on Saturday, June 21st. The series then makes its return to South Dakota in early August as it makes its first ever stop in Sturgis. Well, we've reached the white flag. We'll wrap things up with a look at your weekend schedule next. Here's a look at your Midco Motorsports calendar for the weekend ahead. Enjoy the races, everybody. We'll see you back here next week.